Hi, David and Usha. So, friends, we have Usha and David Gandhi here. David is my senior from the St. Vincent's High School in Pune, and both of them are social workers and have been doing some excellent work in a hilly village in Manipur, a remote part of Manipur called Aben. David has worked, in many international locations. Usha has traveled with him, and they're going to tell us about their work in Aben. So I'm going to kick off by asking David, David, what inspired you to work in remote Manipur, to begin with?
Good afternoon, Rahul. So it wasn't a planned move. I had been there in mid-2016 to do an evaluation of an NGO project there. And in the course of traveling around Manipur and Nagaland and interacting with the farmers, hill farmers, who are mainly engaged in jhum cultivation, also known as slash and burn or shifting cultivation, I realized that I didn't actually understand their livelihood, their system of agriculture, so I needed to educate myself. And in the last village I had visited after almost 2 months, Usha and me, this was Aben, and I somehow had a calling that I should stay in this village and understand their livelihood and work with them to improve it. So I offered my services to the elders of the village. I remember it was a dark, rainy night with lightning flashing, no electricity, and we were sitting in this church office premises, a bamboo structure with a tin roof. And I suddenly had this calling, and I, voiced it to the elders. And I told them that I'd like to stay in your village, but I'm an individual, I don't have any NGO, I don't have any money. But I have some education and experience, and you have a lot of experience, so why don't we work together? And maybe we can find a way forward to improve the situation here. So that's how I decided. And then I went back to Pune, and I wound up all my assignments, and in the 1st of October I travelled to Manipur to take up residence in Aben.
That's 2016.
Right.
Yeah. So that's quite fascinating. So David, you have to tell me, about the difficulties in settling down in this remote village.
Right. So initially I had been welcomed there because of the recommendation of the NGOs. Because these are remote, homogeneous villages. They don't welcome outsiders. And for them also it was a big thing to have an outsider stay in the village. Yet when I went there, they didn't accept me initially. They were observing me to see, what I'm up to. So for 3 months actually I lived in the church office, which was again a sort of a bamboo structure. And I had to cook my own food on a wood fire. And I didn't have provisions because these are subsistence farmers. There are no shops in the village where you can buy provisions. Like things we take for granted, like eggs and milk and sugar and oil and vegetables, nothing is available there. So for 3 months I actually lived on khichdi, which I cooked myself. And I stayed in this church office. In the meanwhile, I got them to give me a piece of land to make a cabin. Naga style cabin of wood and bamboo with a tin roof. And only thing, it had a half brick wall. That on the advice of the elders was to protect me from gunfire in case the insurgent groups decided to start firing on each other when they were passing through. So that was how I started. Then it was later on in 2016 when demonetization kicked in, and all the money I had was rendered unusable overnight. So I had to send an SOS to Usha, who was in Pune, and ask her to go to the bank and get the new notes and come to Aben. So that's how she came in the early December. So I let her tell that story.
Yeah. So Usha, you went December of 2016. Yeah. And that too thanks to demonetization.
Demonetization, like David said, there was an SOS from him, and yes, we realized the precarious condition that he would be in. knowing the remoteness of Aben. So my daughter and I, we stood for almost 10 to 12 days to put together the money, which I could then take and travel to David. 2nd December, I reached there. And David was living on rice khichdi, and I saw the effects of that. He was literally skin and bones. Yes, but that's how my journey in Aben started. And when the elders and especially the mothers, the women knew that I was staying there, they approached me and asked if I would help them with the education in the village. That is when I learnt that it is quite a difficult situation for the children over there. There are no trained teachers. There is something called proxy teachers. We came to know about these things while living over there. They are literally substitute teachers. The good thing I observed was that the parents insist that whoever is a proxy teacher should be 10th, 11th or 12th pass. So that much they understood that if something has to happen, the teachers should be at least 10th pass. I first went to the primary school because I could communicate a little better with the teachers over there. Language was never a problem because there was always someone who knew English, Hindi, and they would help us. And I must say that for children, with children, language was never a barrier.
Yeah.
We seem to just understand each other. And I was just taking a very small little class for the 3rd standard, and I noticed they could not read the alphabet. So that's when it occurred to me, okay, there is something very wrong here. And then I spoke to David and said, okay, there is a situation here. We come with good educational background, with such good experience. If there is a possibility, let me do something. That is how I started. Action. Opening up. Very good. Very good. Sit down. Sit down. Stand up. Good. Sit down. Look up. So when you teach them with action, then they know what it means. Look up. Down. Good. Very good.
Wonderful. So, David, I'll come back to you and ask you, how did you think of implementing the salt agricultural method, in Aben?
My initial idea was to work with the jhum farmers to improve jhum. Jhum is a form of subsistence agriculture which has lasted generations and thousands of years. So certainly there's a lot of good in it. So I thought I wanted to improve it. Though the establishment, both the government and the scientific establishment, all they want to do is ban jhum because they regard it as environmentally harmful. But in my view, there's no such thing. It is in fact a better form of agriculture compared to commercial agriculture which goes on in the mainland or the plain areas of the country. I took it upon myself to visit all the jhum farms. These are at a distance from the village, and educate myself. So I visited the farms, spoke with the farmers, observed right through the jhum cycle what they are doing. And then I realized that the main challenge is that there are no young people in the village to take this tradition forward, because the young people have left the village either for education and further to take up employment in the cities. So it's only the old people who are still doing jhum, and the size of the jhum farms are decreasing. So then I realized that we have to come up with some alternatives. So I used to pick the brains of the elders. What is the development history of this village? So I would try and get some idea what could be possible. So they told me that they had planted around 50,000 orange trees in this village, at the turn of the century. So we're talking, 20, 25 years ago. So I was, quite interested. So I asked, what happened? Where are these orange trees? By now you all should have been selling oranges and be rich. But they said, no sir, all the trees died. So I was surprised. Then I inquired some more. Then they told me it was a salt project. Now salt is a form of agriculture specifically for sloping land. So it is called sloping land agriculture technology. And this was actually, evolved in the Philippines, developed in the Philippines around 40 years ago. So they had tried this project in the northeast of India. The center was in Shillong, and they had tried it in different places, including Tamenglong district, where Aben is located. So I explored more about salt, and I thought it's a good thing. It shouldn't have failed. So I did a sort of discussion with them how they had implemented that project, and I realized that there were a lot of lacuna in the way they had designed and executed that project. And because it was, sort of being implemented from Shillong, and these were the years of insurgency, so nobody could actually visit the project area to guide the people and take the model forward. Suffice to say that, the project failed and people went back to Jhum. But with my background in agriculture and my understanding of, the importance of diversity, soil, water conservation, I decided to try out salt again. So I convinced 3 of the original farmers to start again with my support. And in 2017 we started 3 demo farms, all with their own resources, because I didn't have any money. I just told them that if you set up your farms nicely, I will give you some money to buy fruit saplings, because salt is a model of agroforestry where you grow trees, mainly fruit trees along with crops.
Yeah.
So that went well, and I used to encourage the elders to bring the rest of the community to the site to see the salt farms, around about 1.5 kilometers from the village. So every Sunday after church, the entire congregation would come to visit these farms. All I had to provide was some sweet tea and some biscuits. This is the tradition, when there's some important event. If you organize some sweet tea and some biscuits, then people, take it more seriously. So during 2017, number of occasions, the entire community used to come to these farms, and we used to have a discussion there. And I have to mention that very early on in my work in Aben, my alumni from school, batchmates of St. Vincent's High School who had studied with me, so they pitched in when they came to know about what I am doing. They pitched in with moral support, with finance which they had collected from the members, and they used to send the money to me, and I used that to support my work. So in 2018, most of the village wanted to try out salt. So that's when the financial support from the Vincent's alumni was helpful to buy fruit saplings for the salt farmers who were implementing the model.
Wonderful.
It's mid-October 2021, and we're looking at my salt farm. This has been a very dry year. In fact, as per reports, this year Manipur has received around 50% of its average annual rainfall. And now it's a fag end of the rainy season. The seasonal crops have completed their life cycle. And yet, the salt farm is in pretty good condition. There's a lot of green vegetation. And this can be attributed to the soil and water conservation measures and these hedgerows of nitrogen fixing plants.
So this was in 2018, and the development, the DC, the district commissioner of Tamenglong district, Armstrong Pame. So he also was interested in what we are doing. He visited Aben along with representatives from 40 villages. They stayed overnight to experience the salt model, and they also then became supporters. Mr. Armstrong gave me a letter of recommendation for Usha and me, which opened a lot of doors subsequently.
Very nice.
So that's how then salt began to gain momentum, and I was able to scale it up. Then other NGO I should mention is Sunbird Trust, which has been working in Manipur and other states of the Northeast on education. So Colonel Rego, Christopher Rego, retired. He was working in the Northeast, so he visited me, and he was very interested in salt. So then he sent a couple of his young staff with agriculture background to stay with me in Aben and learn about salt, so that they could then implement salt in Sunbird Trust project areas where have their schools. And then other donors like Caring Friends Mumbai, Annahat Trust from Bangalore, they approached me on their own, and they asked me, what can we do to support you? This is because of the recommendation of Colonel Rego of Sunbird Trust. So then they pitched in to offer small finance. So salt then spread across Manipur in different locations, in None district, in Numba district, and Tamenglong district.
Using NFP, this is Tephrosia candida, a species indigenous to the northeastern region. So here you can see the farmer is pruning the hedgerows and applying the prune material as mulch to his ginger field. The idea is this will decompose and release the nutrients in the leaf to fertilize the soil. The pruning is done around 1 meter above ground level, and this is a good time to prune. It is 20th of August, so we still have a month or so of rains for the plant to recover.
Then in 2022, I happened to visit Meghalaya, and I saw the work which was going on there on soil water conservation, and I realized it wasn't the right technology, because they were using technology for soil and water conservation which had been developed for the semi-arid zones. And Northeast is a heavy rainfall humid zone. So these technologies were actually increasing erosion and degradation. So the director of Meghalaya Basin Development Authority, Mr. Gunanka, he's a young Indian Forest Service officer. So I had an occasion to discuss with him and share my thoughts. So he took it seriously, and then he asked me, what should I do? I said, why don't you try salt? And I showed him some videos on salt and all. So he was very impressed. So he invited me to work with them. As a result of which, in 2022 and 23 and part of 24, I worked with them as a consultant for 2 weeks each month. So we have established nearly 3,000 models of salt implemented by salt farmers across the state, in Garo Hills, in Khasiya Hills, in Jantia Hills.
Wow.
And now there is interest from Nagaland. In fact, in the month of Feb, I'll be going to Nagaland. There's another NGO there who want to implement salt.
Excellent.
And now in Arunachal Pradesh also, through Sunbird Trust, we will be implementing salt there. So this is a slow progression. I'm one never to push things.
Yeah.
I want the farmers and the momentum to take things forward. I don't want an artificial acceleration, pouring money in to take things forward. It's a more organic process where farmers should come forward, and we will then see how we can support the farmers.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, thank you. So Usha, I'll turn to you, and I want to ask you. So what were those interesting initiatives you took to beef up their education system? Yeah.
So after seeing the initial situation there, I called for a meeting with the parents, and also they have a committee called the School Development and SMDC, School Development and Management Committee, which is formed by the members of the village itself. And I put forward to them what I observed, while being in the primary and all, and I said that I would have to start from the nursery school. So the kindergarten. So that's where I then had to put in some real thoughts as to how to move these things forward with them. One of the things I observed is that the children didn't even have books. What we take for granted as workbook and beginners workbook and things for children in kindergarten, they had nothing. In fact, they didn't have pencils, erasers, cutters, nothing. So David and I were in quite a situation. We said, okay, how do we take this forward? I come from a family where my siblings are also in the field of education, and my younger sister Uma, she helped me a lot with how to understand where to begin with for a kindergarten, because kindergarten children are just 4-5 years old. I was more used to the primary education system, so I got a lot of help from her, and using that I began to work towards making things better for them. Now the setup is such over there that nobody from the education department even visits the schools. They receive the teachers, the proxy teachers don't receive training of any kind. No guidelines are given to them as to how to run an academic year. So I literally had to start from scratch from there. So when we came back to Pune sometime in March of 2017, knowing the absence of even regular notebooks and any kind of worksheets, I almost photocopied about 20 kilos of writing material to be carried back, which I took with me on the flight from Pune to Calcutta, and
paying so much extra.
I had to pay a fine also because I wouldn't leave the material behind.
Yeah.
They told me to to reduce the load and all, but I said no, this is for a particular purpose. So that's how the first lot of writing material reached for the children.
Wow.
My daughter, my sisters, they all contributed and put together the stationery required for the children there, and we carried all of this with us, and that is how I began working with the school, the kindergarten. I realized that we need to train the teachers also. They had selected 3 young women, mothers actually. They're all mothers by the time we get there, and I said I will train them how to teach, and I will teach also along with them. At that time the school was in such a pathetic condition. I mean, dogs and animals would be sleeping inside the classrooms when the children, and the huge craters were there in the floors of the classroom. The kids would barely be able to sit and write. They are hanging onto the bench and trying to write. So it was quite pathetic. And sometime during that year, David's friend Arun Nagpal had made contact with David, and he also visited the school, and he told us about one school at a time, OSAT. And Arun encouraged us to approach them because OSAT funds the what is it called?
Repairing of schools.
Putting up
Infrastructure for a school.
For schools,
Yeah.
and even maintenance, repair and maintenance of school. So David quickly put together a small proposal, and it was
thanks to Arun.
yes, Arun was in Bangalore when we sent the proposal, and that way we were able to put up that a new nursery structure, which is closer to the village. The earlier one was 1.5 kilometers away from the village, and these little children had to walk up and down. So this was a huge achievement.
Naga style bamboo, wood framed with bamboo walls and a tin roof.
Yeah.
So sort of a redevelopment of that school structure was done, and I was able to set up a proper kindergarten structure for them.
Hosanna in the highest quality.
And I must mention, initially there were only about 12 children in junior KG and about even less than that, 8 or 10 in the senior KG. But when the village saw what we are doing, the next year in 2018 we had a total of 45 children in the kindergarten itself.
Wow.
And every morning the mothers would come and leave their children in the school. They'd make sure that they are sitting there. And I was very happy that I could train 6 teachers who were trained in the kindergarten. I worked with them, along with them. I didn't leave them alone, so that they don't feel uncomfortable, because everything was new. It was all new for them, no? Because they have not seen the mainland way of teaching. They had something which they had developed by themselves. But I must give hats off to them that even in this difficult situation, they somehow kept a basic education going on for their children till about the 4th grade. This was not easy, because the grandparents, they would come and they would be standing at the windows and watching and seeing what I'm doing. I used to show children little videos, this Jungle Book, just to keep their interest, and using educational videos also. Now, I think they were a little worried that we are talking of maybe religion and things, but time and again we made it very clear to them that we are here only to do development activity. Politics and religion does not come into any of this. So it took about a year and a half before the elders stopped coming and seeing what I was doing. It went off very well, I must say, and the children are like any children in the mainland. They are ready to learn.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of art and craft and coloring, which was their favorite. So the psychology behind that is, when you get the kids to do coloring activity and something which they like, their mindset is happier. And once they are happy and they are eager, then you start teaching them. So that worked very well. I taught that to the teachers also. The mothers were so happy that they approached me and asked me if I would take night classes for them. So that is how that journey.
Wonderful. So, David, what next?
The SALT program now is stable, and it is being scaled up by different stakeholders and actors in Manipur and Meghalaya. And there's also interest in Nagaland. I'll be going there later this month, in the month of February, to help them take it forward. And through Sunbird Trust, we'll be expanding to Arunachal Pradesh as well. I've trained few thousand farmers in the northeast already on salt. And for the strategic part, I've got a young person now through Sunbird Trust to work with me. So he will be taking forward
the
while
program.
I take a few steps backward. Now the situation in Manipur is a little more challenging due to the conflict in the state, which shows no sign of abating. So it's difficult for us to spend as much time as we were doing in the past
Earlier.
years. So I'm going to be sort of giving them more remote support, and when possible, like Usha and me will be going there in the first half of March.
Yeah.
So that's how things will move in the future.
forward.
I'm focusing now on the productivity aspect. See, till now we were establishing the salt farms, and these take around 8 years
Yeah.
to become productive,
Yeah.
especially the fruit trees. And now, once they become productive, there's a whole new set of challenges,
Yeah.
like pest and disease control, how to get good production, how to manage the orchards, how to aggregate, how to market produce, maybe value addition. So these are the things where I will be providing, looking to provide support in the coming years. So the role evolves.
Yeah, yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. So, Usha, on the education front, you were just telling me informally.
Yeah.
So, what are the next steps now?
Right. When Colonel Rego visited the salt farms, which David was helping to set up, he also visited the nursery school. Sunbird's primary function in the Northeast is in education, and they have put up beautiful infrastructure, tremendous support to the children there. So he decided, seeing our work, he decided to sponsor the children of the kindergarten, and that helped a great deal. So for almost three years, they supported the the kindergarten education program. And in our personal capacity, David and I, we found that the third child, the fourth child were not being put back into school because of financial constraints. So we started sponsoring children, especially the girl child, because I observed that if there is a choice between a son or the daughter going to school, the daughter would automatically be dropped out. But we supported them till we were supporting children till the 4th and 5th standard also. Now the education system there is slightly different. We cannot interfere too much. It is a government school, and they have their own way of functioning. But we made it clear to the village, especially the elders and the parents, that we can support them to a certain extent, but some amount of cooperation has to come forward from them too. So we have left it at that. And looking at the current situation since May 23, we can see that we do understand that it is the children who suffer the most, because whenever there is a problem, the schools are shut down first. So that loss is something we are trying to see how we can help with, but that will require major systemic effort from the government also. Meanwhile, we will do the best we can in what is in our capacity. That has always been my belief, that if we are capable of doing and if we have the ability to do, then we should step forward in
Wonderful, wonderful.
that we will keep doing.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.